This is Desiree. How are you? And welcome to HomWork Live. Now, for those of you who are new to HomWork is where you live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. So what we do is that we acquire luxury style homes and we build out the bedrooms to be live work suites for women in business to live full time or part time or as a drop in. And then we also promote host properties. So for the ladies that have extra guest rooms or guest houses or vacation rentals, they put it on our site as well so that they can have women who are part of our community, and all the members of our community have been background checked, they've been vetted, and they can actually network and we do community things together. So part of what we also do is being able to share with you people that are part of our community. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Martha Montoya, who is the founder, CEO of Agtools. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, Denny. Very well. Thank you very much.
I hear you're in a very, very busy season, but first let's back up a little bit and tell us what Agtools is.
So Agtools is a tool that empowers the agricultural industry with real data. It's an algorithm that tells them everything that is going on by the minute.
So when you described it to me today, you said, for example, in farming, the rains, how the rains were, how this was a relevant time for you and your community. So kind of share that, because I thought it was fascinating that all this happens and this thought process had to take place for just the apple that I'm enjoying this morning.
Sure. People don't know what, kind of like a theater. They don't know what's behind the scenes. And behind the scenes is a lot of stress because our industry is, it has 62 variables that affect them on an ongoing basis, whether it's the rain at the destination or the rain where it starts, whether it's an exchange rate, even when a president says there is going to be tariffs. All these affects our crops and our decision making every single morning at 4 a.m. in the morning. We all start at 4 a.m., around 4 a.m. And by 7 a.m., we have made all the decisions for the whole day and sometimes for the whole week and even sometimes for the whole month. So the tool itself allows for all that data to come in a way that is understandable for the farmer or for the buyer and everybody in between, so they can decide. For example, this week we have had rains in California, but we knew this last week. We knew that there was potential rains this weekend. So you start moving your plants, your trees, you harvest earlier, you maybe not harvest at all. And so you allow yourself not to waste food and waste especially the profits or even the income of farmers.
So it's a very fascinating industry. We all are a part of it. Most of us do eat some kind of fruits or vegetables. So it does affect us as a consumer. How did you get involved in this? What spawned your interest?
Well, I was raised in Colombia, and I was raised in coffee farms. I mean, between the city, being urban kid, studying, but in the countryside, coffee farms was part of my life. We harvest coffee up in the Andes all the time. I did that I remember myself till I was 18 and a half. And so farming has been in my DNA, my family. So when I came to this country, I discovered that you could make a living on it, just not having to own a farm, but also to be able to supply and do sourcing and many things for many people in the industries.
All right. So you've been doing it for how many years? Over 25 years?
Yeah, over 25 years. I literally have traveled most of the countries in the southern side of the world. You can name the country, and I most likely have been there. And I tell people I don't know the city, but I know every crop. And people talk to me, and I say I know that place, and they get shocked that I know everything but the city. So 25 years ago, I was hired by many companies, from New Zealand companies to US companies, to source and create programs so they could get the winter fruits and vegetables, because that's another thing that has happened in the last few years. We used to have apples certain time of the year, and that was it. We ate apples 2-3 months of the year, but now we want apples all year round, which means you have to source from many different places of the world to be able to keep up with the demand of having an apple every day at home.
And so you made the transition from the coffee industry into now this app, and that's part of that reinvention that we're talking to today in this podcast. How did that happen, and what spawned that?
Well, what happened is that for many years, having been a woman in the industry, and few of us in the industry that are kind of decision makers, I used to talk to the buyers and the farmers, and they didn't believe me, but I saw the data. The data was there, but I was not understood. I would say the word was not understood. And so I started creating these reports and sending the reports, and pretty soon the reports were asked to be sent to different buyers, different merchandisers, different farmers, even trucking companies. And pretty soon I was kind of known on the industry for having this quote unquote data, but it was there. And then I was invited to attend a program, Stanford University, for scalability of minority businesses. And the professor said, if you're a business that is not growing 15 to 20% per year, something is not good in your business. Now, remember, this is Silicon Valley, which everything grows by the 100% per day. So he was more conservative, and he said 20%, but made me think, gosh, I've been in this industry for a while. Why am I not growing? Obviously, because I need a lot of capital. And so he said, but you do have one thing that very few have, is you all have industry knowledge. So take that industry knowledge and revitalize that into something that is more modern. And that's how this was being done anyway, manually. And we decided that this could be the business, and thank God it was the right thing, because again, I have experience, but I needed more the youth of the computer science technology to for me to guide them to do all the different things that we're doing. And
so did that take a long process? Was that a long process to do that?
I have to say I was blessed, because I happen to have a brother that is a computer engineer and another brother is an aerospace engineer. So I'm so sorry.
So I gotta find some brothers out there.
Exactly, and I know the feeling, because sometimes when I need an accountant and he's not my brother or my sister, I can see impediments I have. So for me, it's having a brother that is two brothers that are that level is amazing. But it's not impossible, because I have recommended many people to do certain things, and you can find them. They're hireable. It's just that you have to be very focused on what you want, so you don't spend too much money. Like accountants and lawyers, you can spend millions of dollars if you don't really know what you want.
Exactly. And so that's what my next question too was, would it have been a very expensive process? I think what you just said is so powerful that everybody that's listening that is in business should be thinking about how they're going to scale it. And I know we at HomWork, our way that is going to be for the app. But people say, well, it's going to be too expensive. It's going to be impossible to do that. So traditionally, what do you think that would have cost? Or do you have any idea?
Cost at least $250,000 to $500,000 just the startup, and it has cost us much less than that. But it has to do, we women have something interesting, and I read it this morning. We're good planners. So if we keep following that thinking process, if we can map up in a wall what we want, then you bring, and I say that because my mother, who is now 70 some years old, she wanted to create a program we had a school in Colombia, and she wanted to create a program. And I remember she writing everything in the wall, and then she hired an engineer, and we're talking 30, 40 years ago. And it was not that inexpensive proposal, because she really knew what she wanted. So when they walked in, it was much easier, much cheaper. So I said that we do not have to shy away from what we want if we plan it ahead, and when they walk in, they just know what they need to do. And so it's much less expensive.
Okay, because as a result of that, the ROI was multi-million dollars. Is that what the return for you and your business? How did it affect your business growth?
Oh, definitely. Well, first of all, it gave us innovation is now the word in every company, in every industry, and every corporation. So it gave us that edge of being innovative, and that by itself grew the other business. So it shows, you know what I mean? So whatever the traditional business is, wow, you're doing something innovation, so innovative. So it gave us a little bit more of a foot inside of our traditional business. And second, it started giving us a foot in a completely different industry, and that has little by little grow the business. And yeah, I'm sitting with people that I never thought I could sit to negotiate businesses, so business transactions that I've never thought about it. But we are very good women. We women know what we do. We are sometimes afraid of stepping in and saying we know what we do.
So that's important. That's an important message for people to remember. One, think about your scalability. Two, to realize how important you are. Three, to be organized, whether it's a website, whether it's a meeting or whatever. Just have the bullet points, have the points that you want, because everybody is time sensitive right now. They have a lot of everything else, but we all have the same amount of time. And I stress that because when I talk to someone or I have an intention of what I want to get, so I can get that and make sure I don't have to call them over and over again. So thank you for sharing that. And as far as reinventing yourself, but you don't take that edge. So now, as far as pulling it through, we were talking to you about HomWork, and you had said that informally you were doing it on your own. Just share with us that little story, because I thought it was, again, a lot of women out there could be doing the same thing you're doing, not realizing that they could actually take it the step further and monetize it even more. So you have a house in Orange, I understand?
Right, but the interesting thing is that, and I was thinking about after I met you all, that it's kind of intuitive, the fact that we're more nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we go to hotels because that's where every business person has gone in the world, to hotels, right? But I found many years ago a little home in the middle of nowhere in Bentonville, Arkansas, of a family that had a rooms for rent, and I go there because I feel at home, and I have
Mm-hmm.
my internet, I have access to them, and if I want a little breakfast with them, but I don't feel so, I would say, lonely, because we women are strong, but it's nice. We're social.
Isolated. Yeah, you don't feel isolated.
Yeah, isolated. So then I thought, it's good that I open my door to those who travel in the area, if they want to come. So informally, I've said, hey, here's a whole bedroom, a whole bathroom, completely independent. I have internet access, obviously, because I have to have internet access. And feel free to do whatever you need to do, because it's so isolated that you feel independent. And so I've been doing it for literally like 10 years for a lot of women that have traveled around. I would say at least 10, 15 women that have taken me up on the offer, because sometimes we're embarrassed of doing that. But I've said it, just use it, because we feel more in a company. So yes, informally I have been doing it, but now I know that there's a potential here.
Absolutely, because that's the part of the thing about the homework as well. The fact, a lot of us come from homes, women, either we have homes that currently we're raising children and husbands and dogs and pets, or we are empty nesters where we did that. And that's a warm, familiar feeling for us. And when we travel to go into a lonely, isolated hotel room, no matter how fancy it is, the process of parking and schlepping our things into the checkout and checking in and unpacking and packing again and trying to order room service whatever time you get it, and make sure that it's what you want, healthy food, fresh food, and so forth, is daunting. It can be daunting, especially if you go there consistently. If you go to the same place consistently, it'd be nice to leave some essentials there, things that your blow dryer, curling iron, or certain makeup or outfits there. So when you come in, you just simply drive into a garage, use your keypad, go into the room, go into the kitchen, and just relax. And then also being able to network, communicate, and brainstorm, which I find is the most fascinating thing. Anytime us ladies are together, we always brainstorm, we're always talking, we're exchanging. Like you said, we're very giving and very generous. So to be able to have that, and then also to have the option of closing the door and incubating yourself and doing what you need to do. So you have that option. That's why we created HomWork, because we felt that myself that ran into that, because again, I'm an empty nester and I want to be in a home, but I want to be in a home alone. And I want the freedom and flexibility to go to different places without having to worry about the maintenance and the management and the mortgages. So we created HomWork. And so tell us the number one thing you think is going to be beneficial for you and for your community.
Well, the number one is because I'm going to be supporting other women, which is number one. We finally are at the point of, we understand. I was raised at a time where they used to tell me, and this is unfortunately sad, that we women don't help women. And I think that we have passed that barrier. We definitely understand women are going to help women, period. I'm raising a daughter with that only thing in mentality. You don't speak bad about other women. You don't treat other women. If anything, this is the time to help each other. So that's the number one reason I'm doing this, and will be doing this. And then the second reason is because it will benefit me, because life is interesting. You do something and it comes back in different shapes and forms. And I have learned that long time ago, and it has come in different shapes and forms.
Yes, and this time hopefully it'll come in the shape and form of a beautiful woman that's a member of HomWork. So, Martha, you sound like you really do a lot of research and nothing. What's your favorite book? What book did you read was the most inspirational or motivational or impacting book? Because we're going to give it away to anyone who wants to opt in today. So today we have a giveaway, and our giveaway today will be whatever book you say is the one that every woman in business should read. Aha! The pressure is on. But yeah, we want to give it a giveaway. So anyone that opts in, we're going to put it in our YouTube, business YouTube, subscribe. It's also be at Facebook. That link will be. So what book would you have us put in there?
Well, the one book that I always recommend to everybody is the book that is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to take 1 second fast, but it's a book that I wish I would have read it 20 years ago, and it had existed 20 years ago, because it would have saved me a lot of time. Now I know that when I'm dealing with somebody, I'm really not dealing with that person, but I'm really dealing with their generation behind them. How they behave is how the parents or the grandparents or the great-grandparents were. And you can't change people, and therefore you need to learn about the background of these people. And it was Glad Maxwell who gave me that book, Glad Maxwell. And I wish, like I said, I would have. It's called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and it has to do with that. It helps me nowadays that when I'm walking into a business relationship, I'm walking in kind of like when we were told when we were growing up, when you marry, you're not marrying the gentleman, you're marrying the family. Well, in this case, you're marrying a whole background, how they behave, the ethics level, the honesty or the lack of it will tell you how you're going to do in life with them.
Wow. Okay. So the name of the book is, again, Outliers
by Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay, I love Malcolm Gladwell. I read many of his books, so that one I have not. So that's the book. That's the book that we're all going to read next. Now we have a couple comments, and thank you so much for commenting. Nevaeh asks, what inspired you to not only come up with Agtools, but to actually pursue it?
Farmers.
Thank you, Nevaeh, for that question. Pardon?
Farmers. We have a worldwide crisis. By 2050, we might not have food for the amount of people we have in the world. Yet we're throwing a lot of the food. And yet the most scary part of it is we are losing farmers because it's a challenging, very challenging industry. So baby boomers are going away on the farming or dying away or retiring, and millennials are not going in the industry. So we need to make it appealing for all of us to step into farming because we need the food. And so farmers were the number one. And then within farmers, 70% of the world labor are women in farming. They are the ones who feed children across the world, India, Africa, everywhere, even Russia. So women, for me, farmers, and within farmers, women, we need to protect them as and us, literally. So it's a selfish position too.
Well, thank you for doing that. I think a lot of us realize that when you put it in that perspective, I don't know many millennials that are going into that farming industry and that generation. And if that happens, then how are we going to sustain ourselves if the other ones are retiring? So thank you so much for that question, Nevaeh. Melina has a question. Success is the third nonfiction book written by Malcolm Gladwell. It was published by Little Brown. Gladwell examines the factors that contribute to high levels of success. Yes, he has, like, Malcolm Gladwell is just known for some very, very powerful. I think everyone should read all of his books. I think I've read a couple of them, but I don't remember the names of them, because he's consistently on top of what we need. So, but we're going to feature the one that you mentioned today. We'll get that cover. We're going to get the information, whoever, and everyone that opts in. That what we do is at the end of the day, today it happens to be the 13th. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, you're right.
So we take the 13th person that opt in, and they're the people that win that book, and we just ship it directly from Amazon to them. So make sure if you're listening to this that you look for the link. Melina will have it out soon and be able to opt in that link and get the book for us to read. All right. So in closing, I want to thank you, Martha, for sharing your time with us. It's really been insightful, and I appreciate your support of HomWork. And I'm anxious to see your property and get it on our list so we can share with the rest of the world. And just thank you for what you're doing. I know it's a difficult industry, and I know it takes a lot of a courageous woman to do it because it's predominantly still male dominated in certain areas, I'm sure. Yes?
Definitely. Definitely. We women are, and remember, I want to remind everybody, there's 1 million women farmers in this country out of 3 million. So it's 1/3 of the farming area is managed by women.
Wow, so go girls. Go. All right, so thank you everyone for listening to us today. Remember that HomWork is where you live, where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. Join us every Tuesday at 12. Just opt in, go to homwork.com. That's spelled HomWork.com, and opt in. If you're interested in being a member, opt in for that. If you're interested in being a host, if you have a host property, vacation home, extra bedroom, extra vacation house, opt in for that. If you're interested in investing in HomWork and find out more, opt in for that. Just join the community because we want to, we have a couple big things coming soon. So HomWork, HomWork, live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.